Hey YouTube, it's ShryphonX here. Today we're going to be talking about One Piece SBS Volume 113. Like and subscribe for more content. Will Bonney become the newest Straw Hat? One Piece SBS Volume 113 explain we might have a clue about who the next Straw Hat might be. Does Zanesha poop? A reader asked, does Zanesha poop? The Oda responded, gross. That's the first question? Disgusting. Naturally, it poops. Naturally. Some adventure makes land there. This whole island feels like a swamp. Eventually, the island sinks and becomes nutrients for the sea. Like hell it does. But of course it poops naturally. Vivi's future One Piece follows a classic tradition of drawing characters when they reach the age of 40 and when they get older at the age of 60. A reader expressed their interest in seeing Vivi's appearance at ages 40 and 60. They also shared a humorous message about using Sanadachi repellent to keep everyone safe this summer. The Oda responded with excitement, promising to draw Vivi at both ages. At age 40, Vivi is seen setting sail with Karu towards East Blue. At age 60, she is seen returning the Nefeltari family to the upper world, becoming a celestial dragon and rejoining the first 20. Kuma's ship, a reader noticed that Kuma used Bonney's drawing as a ship's flag. They asked the Oda what the name of Kuma's ship was. Oda, it's called the Leap Out Jewelry. It's heartwarming that, in addition to having a Jolly Roger based on his daughter's drawing of him, which represents what Kuma cherishes the most about life, he also names the ship after his own daughter. His deepest prayer for her freedom is to leap out, which subtly hints at her distorted future, where, as Nika Bonney, she leaps out of the page with temporary godlike power. King of the Bootlegs reader. Luffy's eye pupils are quite small, aren't they? What if he wore colored contacts? What would he look like? Oda like this. A normal drawing of Luffy. I'll become the king of the pirates. A drawing of Luffy with colored contacts. I'll become the king of pirated copies. Cover Stories reader. This is my first submission. You know those cover story series that you do? My dad said that once a character appears in them, they'll never appear in the story again. Is that true? Oh yeah, that's not true at all. The cover series I've done so far include Buggy, Kobe, Django, Hachon, Wapple, Ace, Gadatsu, Meet Baroque Works, Enel, CP9, Caribou, Jinbe, the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, Beej, Germa, Yamato. I've done this many times already. Most of these characters have returned in the main story. Basically, the cover story series are to give readers an update on these characters' activities. There's also a book called Doors, which contains all of these and is very easy to read. Mio-chan, are you perhaps wondering if Yamato will make a comeback? Please look forward to it. Ebook versus physical formatting reader. Odaki. These days, ebooks have become popular, and there are more web manga than ever. However, I feel that One Piece often uses wide panels that span both pages, even outside of major splash scenes. Do you intentionally design it to be read in print form? Oda, yes, both Jump and the One Piece volumes now have digital versions. Of course, everyone is free to read however they prefer, but the layout I envision is always 2 pages as one spread. In other words, the Jump magazine, comics, or digital versions are read on a horizontal surface like a PC or iPad. For instance, when I create a gag that spans both pages, I sometimes draw the left page's panels a bit smaller so that when you flip the page, the joke on the right appears larger and more impactful. That's one of the visual effects I employ in my storytelling. So, for people reading on a vertically oriented smartphone screen, I can only apologize. Momonosuke's rule in Wano Reader. The Akazeya 9 have each become daimyo of their respective regions. But how were they chosen? Don't tell me it was all Kinemon's decision. As expected of Kin-san. Oda, yes, with the despised Kaido and Orochi defeated, and Odin no longer among them. His son Momonosuke has declared his rule over the nation of Wano country. Beaten. Although Momonosuke's mind is still that of an 8-year-old, of course, It's up to the scabbards to support him. Here's how Wano looks now compared to before. Okabor Town, the prisoner mines, the factories, and Onigashima, all of that is gone. As revealed in the cover story, after much discussion among themselves, the scabbards decided to spread out across the land as regional daimyos. The flower capital is overseen by Kinemon and Nekomamushi, supporting Momonosuke. Yamato, meanwhile, is still currently learning about the world. Flower capital, Nekomamushi, Kinemon, Momonosuke, Kibi, Denjuro, Kuri, Inuarashi, Udon, Reizo, Hakamai, Komatsu, Ringo, Kikunajo, One Piece calendar reader. Hello, Otis-san. In the One Piece world, there are two calendars, the Age of Sea Circle and the Age of Heaven. What time periods do each of these refer to? And what year is it currently? Odie, I see. Casual readers have probably forgotten those even exist. You're curious? Huh? You're thinking one of them must be the older calendar, right? The answer is, right now, it's year 4141 of the Age of Heaven and year 1541 of the Age of the Sea Circle. Both are still in use. By the way, on Skypiea, everything happened approximately 400 years ago, but I simply rounded it off to 400 years. You can disregard this information. Why York aspired to become a celestial dragon reader. Hello, Oda? I was curious. Since York desires to become a celestial dragon, does that imply that Vegapunk himself, before he split into satellites, also harbored a faint desire to achieve the same? Oda, I understand. Was this a surprise? This is a complex topic, but in my opinion, every individual possesses profound desires for various aspects of life. Only when we have the reason to control these desires do we truly become human. If we define reason as righteousness, then concepts such as hatred towards the celestial dragons or the moral sense that compels us to refrain from killing others also stem from reason. However, if that's the case, then perhaps every individual possesses a latent celestial dragon within them as well. That's my unconventional theory. My response is, it's plausible that within humans, there exists the desire to become a celestial dragon. Scopper Gabon finally revealed reader. For those who've been pondering, isn't it about time we put an end to the mystery of the individual depicted from behind on the cover of Chapter 631? I'll simply state it. Is it Golden Lion Shiki? Or perhaps the left hand of the Pirate King, Scopper Gabon? Oda, you have a keen memory. That's Gabon. He simply can't resist his wanderlust. He's been traveling quite extensively. After all, he's a navigator. Fans may have noticed since the mystery resurfaced in Chapter 1125, the Roseward family. Reader, the Celestial Dragons, Saint Roseward, Saint Charlos, and Saint Shauria, what family are they from? Oda, they're from the Roseward family. Saint Rosward's parents must be quite foolish. Rosward's full name is Roseward. After 17 years, we finally have the surname for Rosward's family, and it is Roseward. The patriarch is simply named Roseward, which may sound absurd, but it will be fitting for a family name to maintain an ancestral name, similar to how many French kings are named Louis. So now we have 14 out of the 21st 20 families: Nefeltari, Nerona, Doflamingo, Figureland, Shepherd, Marcus J. Garcia, Topman, Ethan Barron, Manmeyer, Ramushifu, Satchels, Bavette, and Roseward. The Rosewards are the very first known celestial dragon family, first introduced in the Sabeti Archipelago arc in Chapter 497, Adventure on the Archipelago of Dancing Soap Bubbles, released on April 21st, 2008. Frankie's father is 100% confirmed reader. Oh, Daki, Hizo, are Frankie and Queen father and son? Oh, yeah. Oh, no. They've noticed. They must have seen it in the One Piece Encyclopedia, Viver card, that the year Queen's child was born matches the year Frankie was born. And the year Queen abandoned his child also matches the year Frankie was taken in by Tom. Readers knowing something the characters themselves don't would be strange. I'll have to bluff my way out of this one. N. Nyo there. Nyat. This information was taken from the Vivara Card Encyclopedia last September 2024. Fans noticed some peculiar similarities in the timeline for Queen abandoning his child and Frankie becoming an orphan. Gear 5's white color, a reader expressed their excitement when Luffy's new Gear 5 techniques, Goma Goma no Dawn Whip and Dawn Rocket, appeared. However, they were surprised to see the word white instead of punch. They wondered why it was read as Dawn instead. The author, Eiichiro Oda, responded by asking the reader to hold on a moment. They mentioned Renmaru-kun, the person who had asked the previous question. Oda questioned whether the reader had repelled one weirdo only to summon another one. They emphasized that the reader should not assume that when it's white, it has to be punch. Oda also reminded the PDA members that this is not that kind of manga. On a different note, some users suggested that the reason why Gear 5 is white is because the sun itself is technically white. They also pointed out that the kanji for white is present in Kuhaku, which is the term used in One Piece to refer to the Void Century. However, they criticized this adaptation because Kuhaku actually means blank, like a blank page. This term has been used frequently by Emu and the world government to erase things, making them appear as if they were blank pages again. Thematic irony lies in Luffy's whiteness, akin to Emu's erasure of the present world, being employed to maximize freedom. This erasure could potentially reverse Emu's dominion, while Luffy's ability to create rubber erasers and alter the cartoon allows for creative freedom. Will Bonney remain in her true child form? A reader inquires about Bonney's age, noting her 12-year-old appearance while resembling someone in her 20s. The Oda responds that looking older was convenient for her journey to find her father, but now that she's on the Sunny and Elbaf, she seems safe enough to remain a child. The reader is advised to keep an eye on her. This could hint at Bonney becoming a Straw Hat instead of Loki. Both dream of freedom and leaving their homes for the sea. Bonney might be able to achieve this with her restored father, or they could even join Nika's alliance as her warriors of liberation. Alternatively, Bonney could find safety by living in the dream of her father with the current Nika, Luffy. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe for more content. ShryphonX out.